Hey Sagittarius, I'm Empress Rose and welcome to your reading. These are very general readings, so take what works, leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. And everything's been pre-shuffled and prepared, and we'll see what happens. We're going to start with the Oracle of Mystical Moments deck here for an intuitive start to this reading. What does Sagittarius need to know? What's the best accurate message? Actually, thank you for these accurate messages. I appreciate them. All right, for Sagittarius. Okay, I'll take those two. Yes, this is a great set of cards. We have this Gardener card, and we have All is Connected. These cards are best friends. And what I'm seeing here too is these close houses. So we may be talking about best friends. The Gardener card is talking about the work you do on yourself and in your life benefits your community. So the whole community benefits from you gardening, you doing that work. And you've grown two little baby houses here, two little... they remind me of lilies of the valley, this plant here. You know, it's a bulb with these two little white little houses. So you're growing something. You're the gardener, or you have a gardener in your life. And the work that you do on yourself benefits your community. You're adding to your community. As you work, as you grow things, you're really bringing these gifts to the people around you, and all of your relationships are benefiting. You know, that card always reminds me of, I think it's Ram Dass who usually says this, that we, the best thing we can do is to work on ourselves, because we're part of the universe and we're part of the world. So when we become peaceful, we're making the world peaceful, and when we become... when we become better and more mentally healthy, we're making the whole world mentally healthy, because we are part of the world. We're an integral part of this world. So that's what this is talking about. And then that leads us very nicely to All is Connected. So we have Anansi, the storyteller here. So the stories we tell ourselves, the things we think about, it all connects. Oh my gosh, we've got several Anansis here. So we've got several stories here. And these stories that we tell ourselves connect ourselves to everything else in the world. This is our connection. Our storytelling is our connection to other people, other things, when we're telling stories about ourselves, about our lives and what the events of our life mean, we get to choose, one, how we frame those. So if you're not making conscious choices about how you're framing the stories you're telling yourself, now is the time to really start doing that. Become the gardener of your mind, and, take out those weeds, those things that tell us, and then I made this decision because I was really irresponsible and I'm no good at doing life. And then I made that decision because, everybody always lies to me, and that kind of thing. Those stories, very difficult to change, but they are just an interpretation of events. That's it. So I think you're being called to be a gardener of your mind, and you're being reminded that this affects all of your relationships. When you garden your mind and you're careful with the way you're telling the stories, maybe you were, you survived a situation instead of making dumb decisions that got you into the situation. Maybe you made the best decisions you could at the time, given where you were, and you survived the results. You got yourselves into a pickle, you got yourself out of a pickle. You got that kind of storytelling where you're actually you most likely are, unless you're a sociopath, which is very rare. You're actually trying, you're working hard, you're trying to do your best. So even if you're making decisions that you regret later, try to reframe those decisions as definitely someone who's trying to do their best. So this is really clear to me that you need to become a gardener of your mind, and these stories, a gardener of the stories in your mind, because it connects to all of reality. It helps create your reality. It affects all of your relationships. It affects your work, how much money, your money situation. The stories we tell about money are so crucial in being able to allow money to come to us and have that effect. So I think you're being called here this week. This is really talking to me about becoming a gardener of your mind and understanding that when you tell yourselves the stories about yourself and about your life, that affects every other aspect of your life, everything. And you've got a couple stories here going on. We've got a couple of nonsies here, maybe with some competing stories, and all that needs to get sorted out. And as you change your stories about yourself, you change everything about your life changes. So if you're having an issue, especially a recurrent issue, these two cards together, which I've never seen them together, but they suddenly just seem like sister cards so clearly now, and enhance each other's meaning. But as if you're having issues with a certain part of your life, your taste in partners, or money issues, really look at the stories you're telling yourself about those things, and look at how you can improve the stories so that they feel better and they make you feel like the way it actually is, which is that we're all just people doing our best down here. So rewriting stories of your mind are going to affect any problem you're having. So become the gardener of your mind and understand that. I feel like that's the reading. Let's stop there. But when you become the gardener of your mind and understanding that, that changes everything in your life anyway. So you can do the reverse. If there's something you want to change, start looking at the stories you're telling yourself about that thing. All right, for Sagittarius, we got this Moonology deck. What do we want from the Moonology deck? What do we got? Give us a card here. For Sagittarius, what's the message that they need? I feel a little more patient now that those two cards came out together. They needed to come out together. So take all the time you need for an accurate card here that, oh my God, the Sagittarius needs to hear this week. As long as it's the right one, it gives us some insight. Okay, this one's definitely trying to come out. Time to give rather than take, new moon in Virgo. So you're starting like a project in real life, and this actually has a different meaning. So I'm gonna this time to give rather than take confuses me. So I know that there's another meaning, so I'm gonna look it up really quick. I just forgot it. All right, so I knew like it's time to give rather than take. Okay, that's often true sometimes, but this is about a new start and getting organized, a restart of something, getting organized, getting clear. And I think I'm seeing this gardener thing. As a longtime gardener, you make a lot of plans, you plan things out. So this is the very beginning of something, and it's saying plan it out, get organized, set some routines, and it's also about taking care of your health and your mental health. Because Virgo has a health vibe to it. So this is beginning a journey of being healthy, and not just time to give rather than take. Time to look at the role that you can play in the situation. And I'm seeing that with this story card and this planning card is like really looking at where, how you can restart something in a healthier way, a healthier restart, and looking at what role you're playing in sort of, if things have fallen apart in the past, what role did you play? So it's looking at yourself and your role, and what can you change to make your restart healthier and better. So that's where it's time to give rather than take. It can be, I think it's just time to look at your role and switching that up rather than just accepting whatever's being offered to you or whatever's being handed to you or whatever seems easiest or whatever. Just really being more methodical about what you bring to the situation. And if the situation hasn't worked out in the past, it's saying restart, but you know, get clearer, get organized, have a plan, understand your role, and understand, I think this is saying, like, understand how the stories you've told in the past have affected similar situations, and get organized, get your mind organized, and your stories more organized about how you see yourself and how you see your role and what you bring to a situation. So that's what I think it's talking about, because the whole description has nothing to do with give rather than take. Like, has more to do with looking at what you're bringing rather than necessarily what you're getting out of the situation. All right, we're going to move to the Santa Muerte deck here. So what do we have for Sagittariuses? So your past, your present, your inner landscape, what's at issue, your environment, your to-do list, and possible outcomes. Okay, we got some good cards here. A little bit of a rough start, though. Well, not really. Okay, you've got the Two of Pentacles. You've got the two things that are bound together for all of eternity and are constantly needing to negotiate their peace in order to go together. So this can be work-life balance. This can be an actual relationship in your life with someone you have a very strong bond with. And this is the three-legged race card, where when the two things are working well together, you know, they've got their the one leg tied together, and when they're in sync, they go fast and they go far and they win. And when they're out of sync, it's just kind of crazy and everyone's falling, and it's funny for everybody watching it, but they're not going anywhere. So this is the two things that need to be that come into balance. And when they see eye to eye, when these two aspects are in perfect harmony, it's beautiful and you can fly. But when they're not, and it's just a constant negotiation between these two things. So that's been in your recent past, is negotiations. So negotiating with a person in your life, negotiating with a job or something like that, or a balance or two ideas. You're just constantly negotiating between them. In your present moment, you have the Six of Pentacles. This is sort of the waiting game. You're just waiting, kind of killing time. This tick-tock here, your mind kind of tick-tocks back and forth, like, oh, maybe I want it this way. It's actually reminding me of the negotiations going on here. This is like, maybe this way, maybe that way, maybe this way, maybe that way, maybe this way, maybe that way. And so as time's going on, you're starting to like re-explore decisions and like, well, maybe I don't want that like that, or maybe do it, because you're just sitting there waiting, and so you still can change your mind. So it's kind of might be driving you a little bit crazy, the time passing here. Your internal landscape is the Page of Wands. So you're thinking about inspiration, you're thinking about intuition, you might be thinking about art, you might be thinking about intuition, really. And you've got this Page of Wands. So I love how this is a swing too. So we've got a lot of pendulum ideas here of swinging back and forth, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth between two ideas, two options, maybe two ways of being, maybe, And you're not delivering this message, you're not moving on it, you're just holding it. But the page is very curious. So you're kind of like, oh, I think I have something here. I think I have some inspiration. I think I have some ideas. I'm not ready to go for it right now, but I am curious about them. So the page is very curious, and so you do have a message here, or you do have some sort of inspired writing or something. There's some inspiration. You have it in your hand. You're not going anywhere with it because you're still trying to figure out exactly what you're supposed to do with it. At issue is the Six of Swords. So in the upright, we take this as leaving a war-torn land, heading across. You got a ferry captain here that's going to ferry these wounded across. You've made a decision to move to the other side of the lake where the sun's shining. It's very volatile. Something's just happened. So that's normally what we're talking about. But in the reverse, we're talking about that not happening. You haven't launched. You were supposed to launch, but you didn't launch. Maybe you're not aware. Maybe you're not seeing the sunny part here. Maybe you don't understand that someone's ferry is ready to ferry you across. And that's why you haven't gotten into this boat yet. So what's lacking here is the decision to move forward from a place that's causing you pain. You haven't made that choice yet. To move on from something that's painful for you, and is not in your best interest. So you're not making that decision. Maybe you're going back and forth, like, do I get in this boat? Do I not get on the boat? Do I trust the ferry captain more than I trust this guy I've been battling for the last, we've been in pitched battle, pitched negotiations for forever. Like, who do I trust? Maybe you don't understand that this ferry captain, that you have this ferry captain here that's going to be helping you get across this place to this better world. But you haven't made the decision yet. You're not committed to it yet. You're not in the boat. This ferry's waiting for you, but you're not in it yet. You're not going for it yet. I'm guessing that you don't understand what's on the other side, and I'm guessing that there's something about the stories that you're telling yourself that aren't allowing you to see how much better things will be in the future. So you haven't made a move yet, and that's obviously going to hold the whole situation back. In fact, this card could be in every reading. Not quite. No, some are other external things. So, and in your environment, you have this Eight of Wands. You have something is moving fast, which is so funny because you have the Six of Pentacles, this waiting, and you have this Page of Wands, which is waiting on this inspiration, and you haven't made a decision yet. But in your environment, there's a lot of communication, a lot of passionate communication, there's a lot going on here in this Eight of Wands. This could be, it looks like singing right here. It looks like just a lot of people wanting to talk all at the same time. A lot going on here. There's a lot on your mind, but this is in your environment, so this is very external. There's just a lot of communication and a lot of things moving really fast, and they could be good things. And it could be that and for some reason internally, you're waiting, but externally there's a lot going on. And maybe that is why you're waiting. There's just so much going on externally that you kind of need to let the dust settle and see what's going on. So your to-do list, though, is the Queen of Pentacles. You have something here that's yours. So this is the farmer. This is the gardener who has, she's ready to harvest. So this card is saying, take what's yours. Head up that ladder. You're ambitious. Allow that ambition to drive you up this ladder. Take the next step. It's yours, and it's bringing you someplace really good. You're going to be able to harvest everything you've worked for. You're going to be able to harvest that. So take those next steps. Go up that ladder, because this new beginning is very real. I'm kind of getting a career job vibe situation here. Overall, it could be anything, but that's my overall vibe that I'm thinking about as I'm looking at these cards, because we just have a lot of pentacles, and then we have the new moon in Virgo. So this is saying go for it. Go get your coins, get your fruit. You've worked hard for this harvest. Take the next steps, climb that corporate ladder. You're ready to go. The more you work on yourself, the more it's going to benefit this whole situation here. So you do have this inspiration. You're just not moving on it. Even though everything around you is moving very fast, you're not. But you have a new start, and you need to be careful about that new start. And this rush energy isn't about like this careful new start where you need to get organized, you need to get clear on what you want, you need to get clear on your story about yourself, all of that. But I'm loving this because this Queen of Pentacles, this climb this ladder, take the next steps, take what's yours. It's followed up with this possible outcome, this Star card. And this is your cheerleader card. And what she's cheering is that you're on the right path. You're in the flow. You're on the right path. You've got it. You've got something here. Keep pulling on that thread. Keep going is basically the Star card, is that you're on the right path, and maybe you had to use your intuition to get here. Maybe you've had to do a lot of organizing and a lot of new work, but I think once you take these steps, these initial steps, this is where you're going. The Star card, wish fulfillment. Yeah, she's totally your cheerleader. She's here to be like, go team, go. You are definitely heading towards the right basket in this basketball game, and I know you're going to be able to make a basket. So there's a little bit of public nature to this job. The job of cheerleading involves standing very vulnerably in front of a large group of people and talking about how much you believe in something. So it's very, she's super comfortable being vulnerable. She loves this little skirt. She loves it. So you've got someone cheering you on, or also you are in this flow here, and there might be some public aspect of it. You might feel very vulnerable in this, but you're exactly where you need to be. I mean, we're all exactly where we need to be, honestly. That's the truth of it, and that might be a story you need to tell yourself, and a new understanding you need to come to. But this is affirmation. This star card is affirmation that you are in the flow. You're exactly where you need to be. The stars are guiding you. So I hope that was useful, Sagittarius. It looks pretty cool. You know, you got some little bit of a rough start here. Maybe you need to restart something, but best of luck this week. And thanks for all your comments, subscriptions, and likes. I really appreciate it. Really helping my little itty bitty baby channel grow.